Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we have another foundation first impressions video, this time on the brand new Hourglass Vanish Foundation Stick. The Vanish Seamless Finish Foundation Stick. There you go. This is a cream foundation stick and it looks a little bit like this. As always, here's a little bit of context what Hourglass has to say about this foundation. Coverage of a concealer, weightless, long-wearing waterproof formula, that's interesting, for undetectable full coverage. That sounds like something I need in my life. So the lovely people at Mecca Cosmetica sent me 3 shades. We have Bisque, which I think will probably be a little bit light for me right now. We've got Beige. This looks about right in depth, but it's so peachy, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get away with that one. And finally, the shade Beige, which is 100% too dark. So I think I'm gonna have to mix a few of these. But before I start, I'm going to add, as always, some primer on this half of my nose. Just a little bit of Hourglass Veil on this side of my nose so that we can see if it performs better without a primer. I don't put this all over because I simply don't prime all over. I also have the brush, and it's a very dense, slightly angled brush. So I'm gonna give that a go today. I think I'm gonna mix Bisque and Beige because Buff is made for someone far, far peachier than I am. Boop. Oh no, wait. Well, only one side of my face. Okay, so I'm gonna try applying the foundation on this side of my face. I have no idea how much to use. Is this too little? Is this too much? And Beige, straight on top of it. I'm a bit wary of foundation sticks. I don't think I've ever tried a foundation stick that I loved, TBH, but I'm willing to give it a go. I'm being open-minded. So foundation brush. Soft. I'm also not really a dense buffing brush kind of person, so not a foundation stick kind of person, not a dense buffing brush kind of person. Mummy, is that you? You know what? That is super speedy. And this foundation brush is doing a brilliant job. So I've blended that out there, and honestly, that's a really sheer coverage. I personally would wear a little bit more than this. Let me see if I can build a little bit more. Just building on those areas there. I'm finding if you use this brush with more of a stippling motion as opposed to like a big buffing motion, then you do get a little bit more coverage, or rather you retain the coverage of the foundation. So that's one moderate layer on this side of my face. It's having a little bit of trouble adhering to the tip of my nose, but that's kind of a problem that I have frequently. I've got to kind of pat it in with my fingers, but everywhere else, this foundation is looking beautiful. My issue with stick foundations typically is they're super waxy and kind of heavy looking on the skin. It always looks like really makeup-y, on my skin at least. But this one I feel is like, it's almost got like a dry silicone slip. It's not sticky or tacky. I'm gonna finish off the rest of my face, BRB. Okay, so at this stage, I feel like I have a pretty solid medium coverage, and I do think that you could build to a full coverage if you were just a little bit more generous with application. I feel like a lot of people are gonna love this application because you just sort of draw all over your face and then buff it in. There's kind of no special knowledge required. It's pretty foolproof. In terms of the finish, I feel like I'm throwing a little bit of shine, but nothing serious. So let's call it a satin. You know, not super dewy, not super matte. And it is sitting very nicely on the skin. I am finding I've got a little bit of a dermatitis patch. That happens to me during the winter, and it is clinging to that somewhat. So if you have a lot of flakiness, be wary of that. So if I look really closely, the area between my brows that often gets cakey and kind of catches on product is looking great. My pores look great from both sides. I feel like the application was pretty similar on the primed and unprimed. It's not bunching up anywhere awkwardly. I'm feeling pretty good about this. They say coverage of a concealer. I'm wondering if maybe I would be able to use this under my eyes, just in a pinch. Let's say if you wanted to take this on a holiday or vacation. So maybe I'll use the shade Buff for that because it's got a bit of a peachy undertone. You know what? I reckon that's looking pretty good to me. I would use it as a concealer in a pinch. Do you have an SPF or not? Vanish. SPF. When in doubt, Google. So I've just Googled Hourglass Vanish SPF, and I can't find any entries that say this foundation has an SPF, which would kind of be great for evening wear. So let's do a flash test just to check. So based on the shots that I just took, I can't see any flashback, which really makes me very pleased. I'm definitely going to set this under the eyes because I find that it's starting to crease a little bit. The foundation stick is creasing under my eyes. I know, shock horror. Set that down. I think I am going to set the T-zone just a little bit because that's typically what I would do. It looks really pretty without a powder, but you know, just for longevity, I want to give it the best shot possible. I feel like I'm just having a really fabulous skin day. So potentially the first foundation stick that I've tried and actually enjoyed. So right now it is currently 10:31. It's a Saturday. I slept in, had a really good sleep in. Anyway, I'm going to check back in a few hours to tell you how this is wearing. Okay, I am back. It is now 4:03, so 5.5 hours since I first applied the Hourglass Vanish Foundation. Honestly, guys, at this stage, I am so impressed. I was not expecting to like this foundation as much as I do. I'm not shiny anywhere. The foundation hasn't gone patchy. It's not collecting in any areas or looking awkward. Both sides of my nose, I think, look identical. The prime and unprimed sides look fabulous. It did crease a little bit under the eyes, but it's not marketed as an under eye concealer. That was just my personal experiment. My mum came by the studio today. Mum, you want to say hi? No. No. She came by the studio today and I said to her, Mum, what do you think about this foundation? She really likes it. It looks super flawless. It's more matte than she's used to seeing on me. And I think that's accurate. I don't have anything bad to say. I'll be back again in a few hours for the final verdict. I am back for my final check-in. It is currently 7:26, so 9 hours since I first applied the Hourglass Vanish Foundation Stick. At this stage, I'm noticing that I'm a little bit glowy down the T-zone. I've got a little bit of like foundation collecting and on any dryness around the crevice of my nose. And also it's settling a little bit into sort of the fine lines around my mouth. This is what I would consider to be like a normal and acceptable amount of wear. I would be perfectly happy to like go out into the town like this right now. Not that I am going out into the town, it's a Saturday night and I'm working at the studio, but theoretically. I really enjoy the coverage. I think that this would be a fabulous one for events or when I'm going out somewhere really nice and I want to look very polished. It's not totally undetectable on the skin, as Hourglass claimed in the little blurb. It does look like makeup, but to be fair, I did apply more than I would typically because I was mixing shades. I noticed with this foundation that it caught onto any dry patches on my face. I've got a little bit of dermatitis here, so I wouldn't recommend it for very dry, flaky skin. I'm also a little bit dewy down the center of the face, which tells me that it's not super oil absorbent in formula. So I think that this foundation would be best suited to someone who has a normal skin type, is looking for quite a full coverage, and someone who enjoys that quick stripe and buff application because it is super speedy. Out of 5, I would give this a 4 out of 5. So 4 out of 5 constitutes foundations that I like enough to keep, and I will actually go back and get the right shade in this foundation. If you're interested in buying this foundation, I will leave all of the links in the description box, maybe make your life a bit easier. If you have tried this foundation, I would love to know what you think. So leave a comment down below and tell us what your skin type is and what your thoughts are on this foundation. That way everyone can have a read and be better informed. I hope you have a wonderful day and I will speak to you all very soon. Bye!